Tip number 7, color theory or color schemes. This is similar to the highlights and shading rule. Don't be afraid to alter your character's colors if the atmosphere requires it. It might not look very good at first, but the darkness or aura of the background and their surroundings will make up for it. Take a look at this. This picture looks normal, right? The eyes is that what you're supposed to say? The eye whites are white, the roby thing is gray, and the skin is peach. But it only looks like that because of the background and the surroundings. If I take those colors out of there and put it in a white background, they look way too dark and orange. They only fit there because of all the fire and the darkness of Swirl Eyes' surroundings. So make sure that you're not afraid to darken the colors or change their tones. They'll look more like that they're actually inside the environment that they're in rather than standing in front of it like they're cropped in with a green screen. Tip number 8, fill up the whole screen. I've seen this many times with young artists too. All of their drawings are filling up one small corner of the screen with the rest of it a white void. To cure this, make sure to fill up the whole screen so you can get a better view of them. If they're the only thing that's being shown right now, like inside an animation meme, make sure that you can see them so that they actually fill up the screen rather than just kind of standing off to the side. Don't make your viewers have to get a microscope. Tip number 9, perspectives. Just like how a middle schooler looks frightening to a kindergartner but stupid to an adult, your perspective is everything. When you want a character to look scary or intimidating, usually making them closer to the screen will help. And if you can deal with the perspectives, try to make the camera facing up at them. It really helps whenever establishing their power or their terror scale, especially if you show the hero in a smaller and lower position in the next shot. I tried this with my most recent animation and drew the mystery lady really close up while Swirl Eyes was off to the side. The only time that I zoomed in was to get a look at his eyes, which was to focus on the emotions rather than the danger that he was being in with his fight with her. I saw this done in Lord of the Rings with the ring that ruled them all. With almost every shot of it, the ring was blown up in the screen, filling it up. They even add a heavy weight sound effect whenever it is placed down, adding the sense of power that it held. If the ring had just been a little trinket that clinks on the counter, it wouldn't have had the same effect. Something that's closer to the audience's face makes them feel more threatened, and something further or below makes them feel safer. Perspective is everything. Okay, tip number 10. Flick ends? I don't know what to call this one, but it's more focused on animation than drawing, but it could help you too if you're drawing an action-oriented piece, like if someone's jumping at someone else. When an object is moved forward, the limpest and thinnest parts of it, usually like hair, antenna, or whiskers, move for longer than the actual object. They don't stop with it and end up flicking forward and then springing back before settling to where the object stopped. Let it flick, let it trail off, and then remember that it's supposed to have stopped already. Embarrass the whiskers. Tip number 11, bounce and stretch. This is more of an animation-based one too. If you're here for still images, don't follow this rule, but if you're here for animation, keep on listening. An object that's moving usually bounces and squishes where it wants to go. This is similar to the flick end rule, but with the whole body. Here's an example. The stretch frames for that movement are this. Those aren't on model to the character, but the character was standing up, so everything's squished down as it did that. This happens a lot with rubber hose animations, and it's a very good thing that gives the animation a squishiness that stiff ones wouldn't. But make sure to be aware about how squishy your character is. If it's a hard object like a brick, it wouldn't squish as much as a rubber ball would. Tip number 12. Don't rely on eyelashes or long hair or dresses. This one irritates me so much every time I see it. When you're making a character design, especially a female, don't give them eyelashes, long hair, or a dress and decide that's the only thing that makes them a girl. Girls aren't just guys with eyelashes, hair, and dresses. Their facial structures are different, their eyes are different, their bodies are different, everything's different. A trick that I've learned in making designs is that once you're done with the female character, cut off their long hair, if they have it, get rid of the excessive eyelashes, and give them male clothing, and see if they still look like a girl. If they've suddenly transformed into a boy, your design relied on feminine stereotypes to make them a girl. I know I sound kind of like a feminist, but this is very important to me, okay? Things to make them more like a girl, if you've fallen victim to this trap, is to make their jaws smoother and thinner, their eyes more almond-shaped, and their bodies more curved and smooth. To check for a male, just finish drawing them, and then give them eyelashes, a dress, and long hair. If they look like a guy wearing eyelashes, dress, and long hair, then congratulations, you've succeeded. But if they suddenly transformed into a girl, you need to fix them up a bit. Make their jaws more square and tough, make their eyes more square or taller or more circular, and make their outlines straighter and boxier. And, of course, if they're non-binary, make sure that they neither look like a guy or a girl whenever you test both of the stereotype features. Adjust where you need to adjust, and finish. Ta-da! Your character can still look like their intended gender while wearing the opposite's clothes, and you're good to go. Tip number 13, emotion scales, or the scale of emotion, I don't know. This is the last and final tip, so listen up, peeps. This mistake ends up happening to artists of all experiences, and since I'm a beginner who figured it out, I hope I can help others who haven't yet. You know that scale at the doctor's office with the faces going from 1 to 10, each with a different level of pain? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain? That thingy. Make something like that for all types of emotions such as sadness, happiness, fear, or anger, and then decide on which level your character is going through right now. If your character is scared but not panicked out of their mind, you shouldn't boost the scale to 10 and go all out. Calm down a bit and adjust the expression to what they should be feeling right now. Save the 10 for only the most extreme moments, such as this one, whenever Alex was about to explode. I went all out on the anger scale for this one, adding the reddening face, the twisted features, and the snarling lips. And I don't know what it looked like to an outsider, but I was pretty proud of it. Levels to add as you go up the scale would be like reddening features, stretched lines, shrinking pupils, bristling fur if you're drawing an animal, and the snarl on the lips. There's a spectrum to it, and you need to make sure to match the shown emotion to the felt emotion. Oh, and also, as an added note, don't be afraid to make your character ugly while they're showing emotions, especially on the 5 and up side of the scale. In real life, whenever people cry, they don't do it silently with a single tear falling out of their eye. Their faces get contorted and beet red, their nose runs, their eyes are streaking down in tear lines. So, if your character just lost a daughter or watched their lover die, make sure to twist up their features. Let them be ugly. Let them release their despair onto the viewer. It'll be great, trust me. Even whenever they're in a quiet scene, and even if they aren't on the 5 and up side of the scale, still make sure to twist them up a little. Nobody is able to cry without a single hint of expression. At least make them sniff or let their eyebrows knit together or something, just so it doesn't look fake. Don't be afraid to make them ugly. Alright, so that's it for my 13 tips for young artists. I hope that at least one of these helped you guys out, and if they did, go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you have any further questions, ask me, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. I know I'm not a professional artist, not in the slightest, but I can still give my use to others that might be a little behind. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.